The very next hand, I got dealt ace jack off in middle position, so I'm finally back in the game. I opened 300 and Mr. White on my left called. We went two ways to the flop. The flop came ace queen 3 with 2 clubs. I bet 300, he called. The turn came the 9 of clubs, completing the flush draw. I had no club, so I wanted to exercise some pot control and see what he does. I checked and he checked back. The river came the ace of diamond. The pot is now close to 1300, and since he didn't bet on the turn, I think I pretty much always win. If he had an ace with the smaller kicker, I can maybe bet big and win a lot of money. But if he had just a queen or a medium pocket pair, I don't think he's going to be able to call a large bet. So I decided to bet 700 into 1300, and he quickly called. I took the pot down and he didn't show his cards, but I guess he had just a queen. Not gonna lie, it always feels good to win against him. The next hand we decided to play a bomb pot. So we each put in 10 big blinds, 500, and the pot became 3000. And each of us get dealt 2 cards, and we went to the flop directly and started from there. So I have king of hearts, 2 of spades in middle position. And sorry about the camera, I guess I had my fair share of whiskey. So let me just tell you, the flop came jack 10, 5, all hearts. And the small blind dude decided to bet 1600 into 3000. Quite a surprise. Well, I have the king of hearts, so I decided to make the call. And Mr. J on the bottom noticed that the small blind dude just had close to 7,000 behind. After thinking for a while, Mr. J decided to call, and the pot right now is close to 8,000. The turn came the 9 of clubs, and the small blind dude tanked and decided to bet 2,500. Now I think it's likely one of these guys have the ace of hearts, or maybe have hit a set, or have already made a flush, and I just have the king of hearts. So though it's painful, I decided to fold. Then it was Mr. J's time to tank. He tanked and eventually folded as well. And at this point, we all wanted to see the river, so there went the king of clubs. So all the flush draws have missed. The small blind dude was kind enough to show that he had just a 10. He had a 10 of diamond and the 4 of hearts. Mr. J then showed his ace 7, ace of hearts, said that he would lose anyway on the river. Quite a bum pot. This next one, I was under the gun and I looked down and see ace 3 of hearts. Good cards. So I opened 150. I got 3 callers. And the flop came queen 10 9 with just 1 heart. And the flop checked through. The turn came the 8 of hearts, giving me a flush draw. And I wanted to make sure that I got paid if I hit enough flush on the river. So I decided to bet 300 into 600. The small blind raised it up to 800. Now, he could have turned 2 paired or maybe a straight, but I think if I hit the flush, I'm pretty much always going to win, so I made the call. The pot is now 2200. Unfortunately, the heart did not come on the river. Instead, it was the ace of diamond, giving me some showdown value. So when he checked, I quickly just checked back. And I was surprised to see that he had a jack 6 suited. He said that he thought I had a jack as well, which was why I called his raise on the turn, so he didn't bother betting on the river. Well, to be honest, I don't think I will call any bet on the river anyway. This hand I was under the gun, and I looked down at king 10 of diamonds. Good cards, so I opened to 150. Mr. J called on the bottom, and the big blind decided to raise it up to 550. Now this was the retired dude who was very tight, and I figured king 10 didn't really play well against him, so I decided to fold. However, Mr. J called on the bottom, so they went 2 ways to the flop, and the flop came all small cards. It came 7, 6, 3, 2 spades, 1 heart, and the big blind decided to bet 1000 into 1300. Mr. J quickly called, and the turn came another 6, the 6 of diamond. Now the big blind bet 1400. Mr. J noticed that the big blind didn't have much behind. The big blind said he only have 1000 left. However, Mr. J still called. So it seemed to me like Mr. J had an overpair, because he would almost always have to call the river all in. And the river king, the deuce of clubs. So all the flush draws have missed. And the big blind, inevitably he went all in with 1,000. And Mr. J folded after announcing that his draws have all missed. The big blind flipped over his pocket sixes, so he turned quads. Thought it was really interesting that he decided to bet big on the turn and kind of forced the other player to have to call his all-in on the river. Nice cards, man. Next hand, I was in middle position and I look down and see black aces. Best cards that you could hope for. And I opened 200. Mr. Y on my left called and the big blind called. The pot is now 600. And the flop king, ace 7-4. That's right, baby, we have top set. The big blind checked, and I decided to bet. Because although I have top set, I think it's possible that Mr. Y had something as well. And it was definitely my image to bet the flop with an ace as the open raiser. So I bet 400 into 600. Mr. Y on my left quickly folded, but the big blind called. So the pot is 1400. And the turn came the 8 of diamonds, putting a backdoor flush draw on the board. I'm happy to see the big blind decided to lead out for 800. Now I think it's possible that he turned 2-pair or flop 2-pair. I didn't think it was possible that he called my open with 5-6, which was now a straight, because he was very tight pre-flop as well. So I decided to raise it up right there. I made it 2,500, expecting him to call with all his 2 pairs and possible sets. However, after a long tank, it decided to fold, and he later showed me his pocket fours. He also flopped set. I was really surprised that he made such a tight fold. There it was, video number 3. So we have finished visiting the aquarium. Next week we're going to explore another home game with a different group of people. And hopefully it will be a fun game. Subscribe if you like the video. I'll see you next time.